Hello, I'm going to be talking about all the balance changes I would love to see for each hero in the next update. So starting off with Raven. Raven is definitely a pretty good hero, but I don't want to nerf him too much, so I would just recommend with the scan ability, that is like the main thing that makes him great. So I would just say increase the reloading time, so we could raise that up to like 10 seconds or something. That would just make it so they can't like spam that ability, and that makes it so they know where you are constantly, so that'll just give you a chance to hide. And another thing is for the disarm ability, I would love to see that be reduced to like 2 seconds or less, because 3.5 seconds is so long when you're in the middle of a fight. Alright, moving on to Freddy. So Freddy is a little bit too strong in the game right now, so I would suggest bringing his damage down and maybe his ammo capacity too a little bit, just because how much damage he puts out is just insane. He can wipe out a whole team of tanks with one magazine. So just bring that down a little bit. You could also drop his health down a little bit, I feel, because he does have quite a bit. Alright, we got Ghost now. So if you watch my channel for any length of time, you'll know that I hate Ghost. So I would say that in the visibility time should be increased, so he cannot shoot for maybe 1 second instead of half a second. And another thing would be to remove the starting charges, because that's super annoying in the beginning, because Ghost has the ability where it picks up ammo really fast, and so he can just pick up ammo and use his invisibility and completely just charge you down before you can even pick up ammo. So that's super annoying. So if you remove that starting charge, that'll actually give you a chance to be able to counter him. And lastly, to increase the time of reloading. So right now he can just spam that ability so fast, he can just hide for like 6 seconds and then get right back into it. But ability time gets raised up again, he'll have to be more strategic in when he uses it. Alright, last SMG hero, Angel. Angel, in my eyes, is the most broken hero in the game right now. So what I suggest is reducing the time of the shield. Maybe at max level it would only be 7 seconds, because that 1 extra second makes a big difference. And also the same thing, increase the cooldown on the shield so she can't use the shield quite as often. And for the protective matrix, which is 75% to oncoming damage, I would say reduce that down 30 or 40%. Alright, moving on to snipers. First up, we got Blot. The Blot is a pretty good hero, but right now it seems like the hit detection on his bullet isn't quite right, because it seems like my bullet goes right through someone, but apparently it's just not hitting. So I would say increase the hitbox on the bullet traveling, just so that some of those shots would actually hit when it looks like they should hit. And other than that, I would say Blot is pretty balanced. And Slayer, honestly, I can't think of any changes that Slayer needs. And then we got Mirage. So Mirage is the other broken hero in the game. So I suggest that Mirage should have faster attack speed but far less damage. So this would make it so that her ammo capacity would actually matter, and she might actually have to reload every once in a while. I feel like she shouldn't get quite as much extra speed from the breakaway ability, and increase the breakaway cooldown so she can't spam it, because right now it's only 3 seconds at level 17. And the last sniper, we got Firefly. So I honestly haven't used Firefly in a long time, so I'm not totally sure on what he needs, but I'm thinking from the last time I remember playing him that his aiming time might have been a little long, so maybe just reduce that a little bit. Alright, now we got the shotgun heroes. So Cyclops is kind of weak in the game right now, so I feel like it would be nice if his aiming time is reduced, because right now he has to stand in one spot for so long for him to start aiming. So if that was a little bit less, that would just allow him to charge in a little more. Increase the reloading time on scan, which would just make it so people don't know where you are all of the time. And you could also add a little bit more range to his gun. And then we got Hurricane. So Hurricane is probably the weakest of all of the shotguns. So his fourth passive ability is kind of useless, which just reduces enemy armor and increases teammates' armor when you take damage. So that's kind of useless in the game right now. So I would say change that to reduce enemy armor penetration. So within like a certain radius for you and your teammates, it would decrease the effectiveness of that, so they couldn't shoot through your armor and get directly to your health as easily. And another thing is he needs more damage. He just doesn't put it out quite quick enough, and you could also increase his health because he doesn't have that much. And then we got Sparkle, which is pretty well balanced, I would say. The only thing is the last time I was using her, I don't know what it was, but my bullets they looked like they were hitting the person, but they weren't. So I don't know if the bullet travel time needs to be fixed or whatever. But other than that, Sparkle's pretty good. And then we got Arnie. I would say Arnie is pretty well balanced in the game. And then we got tanks. So one thing that I would like for all of the tanks would be for their overflow health, that if that time was increased that they have it, because right now it is only 10 seconds. If that were to be increased to like 15 seconds, then I feel like that would help them out. Either do that, or you can just increase all of their health. All right, starting off with Smog, one thing that would be really nice for him would be if Directional Fire had another thing that had like an extra 25% vision range, which would just help him be able to shoot those rockets further. I feel like it would just give him more viability. And his machine gun just does hardly any damage, so you could buff that up too. And then we got Dragoon, which is pretty well balanced, I would say. Maybe just a little more health. Then we got Bastion. So I would say for Bastion, he should have the reloading time of the shield be increased a couple of seconds. And you could also give him a little health buff too. And then we got Berthia. So one thing that'd be nice for her would be more bullet penetration so that she can shoot through more walls. And another thing that I mentioned in my last video would be to add a highlight to enemies when she hits it using suppression, just so that she knows where they are and can target them more accurately. And then Leviathan, the only thing I would say for him would maybe just give him a little bit more bullet penetration to be able to shoot through those walls. Alright, the last class, assault rifles. So one thing for all of the assault rifles that I would like would be for their team healing ability. At max level, it reduces 50% of incoming damage. So I would say reduce that down a little bit, not a whole lot, maybe just like 40% at max level. Just because right now, as it is, if you get one assault rifle hero and then a team of tanks, the amount of health that those tanks have is incredible. So if you just bump that down a little bit, would be nice. So starting off with Stalker, the only thing for him would just be to increase the reloading time on invisibility. And then there's Doc. So another thing kind of like Smog would be to add some extra vision range to one of his passives. So like Battle Scarred, an extra 25% vision range would just be helpful for him. And his main weapon just doesn't do that much damage. So I feel like he does have a lot of ammo. So maybe increase his attack speed and decrease his fire spread. And then Satoshi, he is pretty strong, but I can't think of really any way to nerf him without completely nerfing him. So maybe just a little bit damage, which wouldn't really nerf him that much, just because if you're hitting someone, they're pretty much just going to go down. And lastly, we got Levy. So I would say Levy is honestly pretty well balanced in the game right now. Alright, that does it for all the changes. I would love to see it to all the heroes. If you guys have any other ways that you would change them differently, I would love to hear that in the comments. Bye.